replace the top floor, and the customer has reported that a plumber came to the house and went underneath and told them that the furnace exhaust pipe appears to be unsafe and that they should be greatly concerned about it. So we're going to go in here and take a look at it. I've not been in this crawl space before, but she did tell me where it is and that I've got access to it. So let's go see what the plumber's talking about. I see a couple of drains over here. One looks like it's from a sump pump, and the other looks like it's probably from one of the condensates from the furnace or ACs. There is a Ream tankless water heater. When we put them in, I don't like them that close to the ground, but and you can see the water level has been up probably close to the bottom of those valves at least. So we usually go with an outdoor model when we don't have any more height than this. Or I probably, if I wanted to put one there, I would have just raised it up and eliminated that foundation vent right there. I don't think you should be putting the exhaust of it right below the foundation vent that is open, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, that's probably not, in other words, that should be blocked off anyway. So if it was going to be blocked off, you might as well block it off and use it and get the unit another, I don't know, 10 inches or a foot higher. But anyway, that's not what we're here to look at. And I see what we're here to look at. And I see exactly why the plumber thinks that is unsafe. And he is definitely right. Let's get over there and look closer. I'll tell you what now. This right here is some crazy looking stuff. So when they put the tankless in, they did not take the tanks out, two of them side by side. Let's get the light on. All right, so here's two gas low boys. They don't make these anymore, that are piped into the chimney. Here comes a piece of flexible double wall, because it does connect. And there's a piece of double wall pipe and a piece of single wall stuck into it. Nice little hole there. Nice big hole there. So I guess the reason they haven't really seen problems from this is once it runs for a minute and the chimney gets hot and starts drafting, that's probably actually drawing in air versus letting out flue, but, or gas, you know, flue gas. But I'll tell you what, that that is not the way this should be. This is a pretty small furnace. Small plenum. Blanked off. I think it would have been pretty easy just to stuck a bigger plenum on there. And looks like they used the old transition to connect to the slab coil. It comes off, you know, it's a ream, so it comes off there 3-inch. Does have the proper 3 to 4 increaser, and these are approved. They're kind of thin and flexible, but we use them in attics, but nonetheless. So doesn't really start looking real bad till it gets over here, and you know, I don't know why they didn't just throw that away and continue a piece of double wall right over there. But tell you what, even the other side of this looks really bad. I guess they didn't want to bust out that cement there and redo that whole thing, but and at that time when they ran that, these were probably active. That's what I'm going to guess. So, in my opinion, whoever put that tankless water heater in should have taken these out and should have removed that flue there, and at the very least capped them off, these two 3-inch single walls. They could have at least capped them off. But I'll tell you what, they didn't much care what they were doing. And that don't look like that happened yesterday. I think they seen every bit of this. And saw every bit of this, I'm sorry. Let's see if we can find a date on one of these water heaters. So I'm not sure if that 1988 there is, that's probably about the time these houses were built. I'm not sure if that's a actual manufacturing date or what it is, but it sure looks to be. So in 1988, single wall pipe into the chimney was legal. And it was also legal to pipe the furnace into it as long as it had a full-time appliance, meaning the year-round appliance made you, by code, allowed to hook a furnace into the same chimney for flue. I never really agreed with that, but all that is gone now anyway. So we are totally not up to date anymore with the current building code standard to hook any type of furnace exhaust into the chimney flue. And if we do, we either have to use a liner like a Z-Flex kit. I don't know if any of you ever used those before. Either have to use that, or the only other way that I know of to bring an 80% exhaust out from a crawl space is to use one of those power venters. And I'll tell you, that thing's pointing down too. Look at that. I mean, whoever did this, boy, they ought to just not be allowed to do it. Somebody scratched 1989 into that. So that kind of makes you think those 1988 water heaters were original. So the only way they're going to sell this house and it pass any home inspections is to raise that water heater up, block this off, bring that through there, remove the old tanks, and either put a power venter on that furnace or replace that furnace with a 90%. And I guess we could probably bring the 90% flue out right about there, in between those two foundation vents, and there's no windows. So that's going to be my opinion. Let's go talk to the homeowner and see if they're here at least. There's the outside units. And this is the top floor that we installed, so we flushed the existing line set. And replaced 2.5 with a 3-ton, I believe, if I remember right. And this one is a 2.5 from way back. Looks like it's original from '89. So, been a good one to have lasted that long. They say it still works. But anyway, let's go talk to them. All right. So, as we were plainly able to see, the plumber was correct in having a concern about the exhaust pipe and the flue connections, all of that, whatever you want to call it. The homeowners are not at home, although I did talk to them, so I took some images, and we'll let them view the video if they want, or at least a few still shots of what we're concerned with. So my suggestion is to replace the HVAC system, and along with that, of course, you get a 90% furnace, and we would eliminate all 3 of those exhaust pipes, remove the old water heater tanks, and the HVAC would be fixed. As far as the tankless water heater goes, if they wanted to leave it, that's fine. We didn't do it, but depending on, you know, how smart or how knowledgeable a home inspector was, it's not supposed to be vented within 2 feet of an inside corner. So that's a bad spot for it to be regardless, but not to mention the open foundation vent right above it. So blanking that off could possibly at least get it by some inspectors. But like I said, it's really going to be hinging on the fact of how knowledgeable so-called said inspectors are that come to these houses. Some of them know a little more than others, and as we've all seen in the past, some of them don't know much of anything. So I don't know what it takes to be a home inspector. You know, if you pass an online course, or I don't know, but it just seems to me like an inspector of any type should know a good bit. It's funny that we have inspectors inspect our work, but we know more than they do. That just doesn't seem right to me, but nonetheless, they only look at a few key things, and I guess training is possible to achieve that. So anyway, there may be a follow-up video if we do work here at that house and make those repairs, do that replacement or whatever it takes, to satisfy the homeowner. Then we'll do a follow-up video. But that is some of what you see. At least that's old stuff and not quite as much hack job stuff as some of the new stuff we see. But the water heater people were pretty bad, and whoever scabbed that furnace back in, they